Welcome back, guys, and we're going to start a brand new series today. It's called The Rundown, and in the first episode we're going to be featuring Ninja RS, who's going to be on call with us, and we're going to go over some of the things that I think a lot of you guys are wondering. This episode is going to be, is it better to use the Dragon Defender or the DFS? The 5 things we're going to go over are the pros, which is going to include effective uses, stat increases, and the overall benefits of the item. Cons, which would be ineffective uses, stat decreases, and lack of benefits. Places to use. So where's the best place to use this item? Would you want to use a Dragon Defender at Dragons? Probably fucking not. So we're going to go over that stuff. Item stats, in-depth analysis of the stat increases, the stat decreases, the lack of the stats. And at the very end, we're going to go over an item ranking. We're going to use that unique scale that you saw previously on how good this item really is. So once we've covered all these topics here, we're going to move on to a scale. And we're going to rank that item on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being obviously the least effective, which is going to be represented by a greater demon. As you go through the scale, the monsters get increasingly difficult, more powerful, until you get to the 10, which is obviously the best and most effective use of that item, and that would be represented by Corporal Beast. So that's the item scale we're going to be using to rank all these items. So now let's get into the pros and cons of each item. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the Dragon Defender pros. It is a very light offhanded item, so it only weighs 0.4 kilograms, so if you're doing anything that requires running, kind of like Abyssal Sire, it might be helpful for that, because it's not going to weigh you down or take away any run energy. It also has the best melee attack bonuses in the game, compared to the Dragon Fire Shield, which has completely 0. It's going to be substantially better, and it's free. You don't have to pay anything for it. All it requires is some time and effort to get it. But there's no actual upfront cost at all. So what are your takes on that, Ninja?
Well, I use it quite a bit as well at different bosses, such as Abyssal Sire, Cerberus, and all sorts of bosses like that.
Yeah, definitely Abyssal Sire, as you're constantly running back and forth. I can see where that would be pretty useful. So let's get into the cons of the Dragon Defender. It can take you quite a long time to get it. I've known people that have spent hours getting it because it's RNG. It's all based on if the Cyclops is going to drop it. It doesn't have a very big drop rate, but you know how RNG works, you could get fucked. It only has defensive stats equivalent to an Adamant Square Shield, so it basically has no defensive stats. You're going to have a little bit, maybe 20, plus 20 or something here and there, but it's not much. But you'll see when we get into the stats, you'll see how much it actually has. And then if you die in 20 wilderness or below, you're going to have to pay 40k to fix it, as it breaks with the new update. And if you're in over 20 wilderness, it's going to be gone forever, kind of like the Fire Cape and Void. It'll completely be gone. What do you think about that, Ninja?
That's pretty good, and I also never knew that it had the same defensive stats as the Eddie Square Shield myself.
It does, yeah. It's pretty weak. I mean, if you think about it, Eddie Square Shield it's nothing really.
Yeah, like I never really thought to check that kind of stuff when I use it. It's pretty interesting.
Definitely. Alright guys, now we're going to jump into the Dragon Fire Shield. The pros of this shield is that it has some of the best defensive stats in the game for a shield. It protects from regular fire as well as Icy Wyvern Breath, so it's kind of a universal shield. You can use it anywhere. And it has the highest melee strength bonus in the game, which is a +7 bonus, but we'll get further into that once we get to the stats. But it's quite a solid shield.
Yeah, definitely pretty good for tanking at a lot of bosses and just bosses that you'll need defense in general against, as well as a little bit of strength bonus.
Yeah, definitely. And it also has that the fire special attack, which I haven't really used that much, but it can hit a lot of different bosses as well as dragons as well. So for a lower level, that might be something you could potentially use if you're already at dragons. It'll recharge as you use it to fight back. So that could be an alternate use. Getting into the cons, it has no offensive attack or stats, excuse me, and it has negative mage and range bonuses. So if you're using this kind of as a place as where you could use a defender, it's going to be pretty useless because it has 0. You're going to get nothing from it. It's quite expensive to purchase. I think right now they're running about 14.5 mil. They fluctuate up and down, but that's a normal average price. And to have any use at all, you need to have it charged, which takes 50 breaths from a dragon to charge it. And that takes a little bit of time, and if you don't do it, it's going to be equivalent to a mithril square or mithril shield. So it's basically useless if you don't charge it. And it also is a very heavy shield. It weighs in at 9 kilograms. So if you're using this as a shield for, say, Abyssal Sire, you're going to drain your run energy crazy fast when compared to the Dragon Defender. So I wouldn't recommend it using it for anything you need to run for extended periods of time with. Alright, now you may be asking yourself, where can you use these items? So for the Dragon Defender, you want to pick bosses that you don't need high defensive stats against, as it is equivalent to the Addy Square Shield, and not going to help you much in that aspect. So good examples are Cerberus. He has pretty low defensive stats, allowing you to hit him pretty easily, and using that, Dragon Defender is going to give you those melee stats that you need to hit him even harder. Most Slayer tasks, it's pretty safe to say you can use a Dragon Defender for, as they're not going to be dealing you crazy amount of damages. So Gargoyles, Necreal, Abyssal Demons, stuff like that you really don't need, a lot of defensive stats for. And as we said earlier, the Abyssal Sire is one of the best bosses I think you can use it for, as you're running constantly and you need to get as much hits as you can, and it has no defense essentially. So using the Dragon Defender is really going to help your kill count and kill time.
And one boss I would add in there as well would be the Calphite Queen, because I hear that people say that the Calphite Queen's melee attack is actually 100%, so it hits you unless it rolls a 0 on like the RNG table. So Dragon Defender might be helpful there as well.
That's true, because it doesn't really matter if you have a high defense bonus, because it's going to hit you no matter what. So you might as well be able to hit it back just as hard. So now we're going to talk about where the Dragon Fire Shield is most effective. And that's going to be bosses that require a significant amount of defense against it, as it is one of the best defensive items in the game. It's going to be used for a lot of bossing. Some examples would be Bandos. The tank typically is going to use a Dragon Fire Shield, as it's going to be taking all the damage from Grerador, and it's also going to be taking range hits. And it has a pretty decent range defense bonus, so it's one of the best shields you can use there. Any dragon would probably be the best shield you can use there, as it gives you that melee strength, and it also protects you from fire. So I would recommend to use it at any dragon. And then also Krill Sutzaroth, the Zamorak boss. It's not a bad weapon or item to use there, as it can protect you from his massive attack on our special, which is kind of hard to avoid, but it's going to help you in the long run. Any thoughts on that, Ninja?
Yeah, and also pretty much just like Armadillo, I guess, as well would be a nice place to have a DFS for like the range and melee minions, as you are playing range like the majority of the time. And I also use it at Dagonoth Kings as well. I don't really know if it's as good to use there as like an Arcane or a Spectral, but it's nice for the range defense there as well.
That is true. The range defense is a big factor when you go to DKs, because of the spin lobs, or O is hitting you. So that's probably a really good point. So we're going to jump into the stats of the Dragon Defender. Starting out first, we're going to go to the attack bonuses, and it has the best in-game melee attack bonuses. Compared to the Dragon Fire Shield, which has completely 0, it obviously wins in that category. Looking at the defensive bonuses, it has pretty mediocre defensive stats. We said earlier that it compares to an Adamant Square Shield, so it's pretty low on the totem pole if you ask me. And then you look down at the other bonuses, and you're getting a +6 melee strength bonus, which is one of the highest, only rivaled by the Dragon Fire Shield. So pretty high melee strength there. And then looking over at the weight, you're looking at no weight, essentially at a 0.4 kilogram increase in your weight. So running would probably be pretty easy.
Also notice a pretty funny thing, that the attack bonuses and the defense bonuses are the exact same things. Like the same numbers.
That is pretty neat, actually. I never even saw that. I guess keep it even around the board. I mean, it makes sense, I guess. So now let's get into the stats of the Dragon Fire Shield. If you look at the attack bonuses, you're going to see that it has no attack bonuses at all. And it also has a negative range and mage bonus. The -5 for range isn't that much of a big deal. Like you were saying earlier, Ninja, for Armadillo, it could be useful there, as it does have a really good range defense bonus, but it does take a little bit away from your attack. We jump down to the defense bonuses. You're going to have some of the best defensive stat bonuses in the game, obviously when it's charged. If you don't have it charged, you're going to have pretty much nothing. But you see there you have a +70 stab, +75 slash, and a +72 crush, with a +72 range. And regardless of whether it's charged or uncharged, it'll have a +10 magic defense bonus. If you look down at the other bonuses, you have a +7 melee strength bonus, which is the highest in the game for an offhanded item. And if you look at the weight, you're at a +7 kilograms, which is considerably heavier than the D Defender.
I also was kind of surprised that I had a +10 magic defense bonus, because usually you would think like armor and stuff like that wouldn't really have a magic like bonus on it or nothing.
That is true. I mean, most shields you see have negative. Like if you had a rune shield up there, it would definitely have a negative, magic bonus. But yeah, it is kind of interesting that the DFS has a +10. Alrighty, it is that time to rank where these items place in our 1 to 10 scale. So Ninja's gonna rank them, and then I'm gonna rank them, and we're gonna see if we compare, if we're equal, and what the overall ranking of this item is. So let's start it out with the defensive score. Ninja, where would you put it on the defensive scale?
I'd probably put it like at a 4 or a 5, more leaning towards a 5 probably, because like it's better than having no shield, but at the same time it doesn't really have too much defense bonus.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it does have a +20, so it's not, a complete 0, but it isn't really that effective. I think, if I think about it, I mean, a +20, it's not that great, but it's something. I think I'm going to give it a 4. So we'll go with Kraken for that. Alright, and moving on to the offensive score. Where would you put this on the offensive scale, Ninja?
Well, since this is probably one of the best like offensive offhand things in the game, I'd probably put it around, I don't want to say like Jad, but maybe Tigg3r, so like 8.
Okay, we'll go with an 8 on that one. I think with the best in game melee attack bonus and then a +6 melee strength to rival it, I'm actually going to give it a 9 for that. I'm going to give it a Jad. Alright, now to the cost effectiveness. Where would you put the Dragon Defender, Ninja?
Well, considering it's like completely free, I'd probably definitely have to give it a Corporal Beast 10
Yeah,
probably.
That's exactly what I was saying. I'm definitely giving it a 10 for overall cost effectiveness because it is free.
Like all you have to buy is like the armor to get the tokens, so.
Yeah, you spend like 3K on a myth set and you're good to go. Alright, now let's jump into the overall rank of the Dragon Defender. Where does it place in game for being a defensive weapon or in the defensive slot? What is your overall rank going to be, Ninja?
Probably, I would say overall probably a 7 Zora, because like it doesn't really have great defensive, but I think like the offensive and the like the fact that it costs like nothing to get makes up for that.
Definitely. I was thinking about the same thing. It has some of the best, melee attack, and then defensive stats kind of take it down a couple notches. If it had similar stats to the DFS, I think it would be up around 9 or 10. But I'm pretty comfortable putting it at a 7 for overall ranking as well. All right, and now we're going to jump into the rating of the DFS. Let's start it out first with the defensive score. What are you going to give it, Ninja?
I'm probably going to give it a 8 out of 10. So Tigg3r again. And the main reason for that is it is a pretty good shield, but there are still shields that are better, such as like the Elysian and all those other ones.
That is true. Elysian is crazy. Obviously, for the price difference, it should be. For me, if you think about it, it has multi-uses. It protects you from Dragonfire, protects you from Wyvern Breath. It has crazy good stats and a +7 strength, but that's not really defensive. So, I guess I'm going to give it a 9. I don't think there's many other shields that do have a multi-purpose to them. The Spectral has great, mage defense. Arcane has great mage offense. Ellie has the chance of, deflecting damage, but nothing really has the, fire breath protection along with pretty high defensive stats. So for that reason, I'm going to give it a 9. Jumping on to the offensive score, where would you rate this one, Ninja?
Well, considering it doesn't really have any offensive, like, melee bonuses per se, but it still has a decent strength bonus, I'd probably put it at around I'm going to say a 6 at General Ghidorah.
Okay, we'll throw down a 6 for that one. So yeah, if you think about it, it really has 0 melee offense. It also has some negative bonuses for the mage and range aspect, but it does have that +7 strength bonus, which is obviously the highest in the game. So for that reason, I'm going to go ahead and give it a 5 at the Kelphite Queen for its offensive score. Let's jump into the cost effectiveness now. Where would you say it ranks for cost effectiveness, Ninja?
I'd probably say around I'm going to say a 6 again, actually, because it is like fairly cheap to some players, like only 14 mil. There's more expensive options out there, obviously, like the Arcane at like 80 something mil, Elysian at like 700 plus mil, but it's kind of alright for most players to obtain price wise, and for like all the features that it has, like you said before, it's a pretty nice shield for that price, so I'd say a 6.
Absolutely, yeah, that is very true. I mean, it is 14 mil, so for some people, starting out just hitting 70 defense or 75 defense, it might be a little steep. But once you get into it and see the uses of it, it's really worth the 14 mil that you put down for it. So I'm definitely going to give it a 6 on this one. I'm going to go with the General Grarador for that. Now let's jump into the overall ranking of this shield. Where would you put it on an overall scale, Ninja?
I'm probably going to be saying a 9. No, an 8 actually, because it's like a really good shield overall. I wouldn't put it as the best shield in the game because there are a couple shields ahead of it in like offensive, defensive, different abilities to it and that kind of stuff. But I think an 8's still pretty good for DFS.
I would definitely agree with that. There are some better shields out there, and it all really just depends on what you want to do with it. But for most tasks and most bosses, I would say a DFS is almost practical to have. So for that reason, I'm going to give it an 8 as well at Tigg3r. Alrighty, so now what we're going to do is me and Ninja are going to duel. We're going to see how many hits it takes him to kill me while I wear the Dragon Defender. Fight. Damn, he comes out strong with a 33. Let's kick him back. We're going to Judy chop him. We're at 3 right now. 4. 5. Oh, that's 0.
What the fuck?
What was that, 10?
Yep.
10 hits. Alright, so there's 10 hits for the Dragon Defender. Now let's go ahead, throw the DFS on and see if we can tank it for more than 10 hits. Fight! First hit. 2. Oh shit. Oh my god, 4, he's comboing me out. 5. 7. So for a shield with insane bonuses, you killed me in 7 hits compared to a Dragon Defender with nothing.
That's so weird.
Let's do it again. We need to test this again. I feel like that's a fluke. Alright, 1. Holy shit, 2. 3. 4. Oh, that's 0. 5. Oh my god. 6. 7. What the hell? Really?
Do like more testing.
You want to?
Yeah, that seems really like weird. They would take more for the DFS.
It doesn't make sense. I'm not wearing anything but that.
I'm in like max strength. Almost.
What is that, 4? 5.
Yep.
6. 7. Wow, okay.
I don't get it.
Oh, 9.
That was more realistic.
Alright, 1. 2. Oh, shit, there we go. 3. 4. 5. There we go. Six. 7. That's more realistic, at least. 8.
Yeah.
9. 10. 12. 13. Alright, there we go. That's more realistic, I think. So me and Ninja tested 5 kills with each item. He's max melee, so I figured it would make more sense for him to kill me, as we'd get a better census of what the actual hits per kill would be. So with the Dragon Defender, we averaged about 7, but at sometimes you'd have more hits to kill me, and sometimes it would be less. But at the end, it averaged out to be 7.2 hits per kill, which will round down to 7. And then with the Dragon Fire Shield, it was an average of about 9 hits per kill, but we had a more varied hits to kill me, anywhere from 13 to 6. So it's a pretty big ratio, but in the end, it did average out to 9 hits per kill. Which we were kind of talking about. There's a plus 50 increase in the Dragon Fire Shield to the Dragon Defender, and that's an average of increase of 2 hits per kill. So we were talking about maybe that a plus 25 increase in defense would equal 1 extra hit to kill us. We're not sure if that's true or not, but it's just kind of what we found from our tests. But it's kind of interesting to see that the Dragon Fire Shield does actually give you that extra boost you need to tank some of your bosses and stuff. So that's going to be the end of this video, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy it. It is a new series that we are starting up right now. It's really fun to make, and it gets you thinking. I have lots of questions daily of what should I wear for this, or what should I bring to this, or hey, should I use a Dragon Defender or Dragon Fire Shield? Well, now we have the stats to back up why we should use these certain items and where we should use them. So hopefully it does help you guys. If it does, leave me a like, comment, let me know what else you'd want to know about. What other items out there do you want to have a breakdown of? If you bring those, tell me what you want, and I'll make sure I can bring it to you guys for sure. So hope you guys did enjoy, and I guess we will see you next time with another episode of The Rundown. Peace!